Derrick.
How are you? I'm back.
I'm well.
I'm getting my share on real quick.
You get your
Just
shift
like everybody
together
else should
over
be
there.
doing.
While you do that, hello everyone. I'm Ursula with Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. I hope everyone had a great day today. Just to let you all know, once again, I'm giving some love to my 413 family. You all show me so much love, and I really do appreciate you all. And if you hear my voice, anyone, I want you to like, please comment. You're really going to want to comment after 10 minutes into this conversation that we're having. Also, if you hear me on the replay, make sure and type replay. And also, I would love for you to visit my podcast, Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together, on all streaming platforms. They're rolling in already.
Good. Bring them on.
And I want to let you all know I'm almost at 300 streams.
Woohoo!
Yes. I need, what is this? November 16th. I need 4 more to get to 300. But I want 30 more people to come on in and stream it. So we're going to get right into this. Derrick, can you tell the folks a little bit about yourself? We've met you before, but for some of the people who have not, and then we're going to get right into Billy.
Oh, that dude, Billy. My name is Derrick Jones, and I am a certified life coach, relationship coach, mental health advocate, and I have a podcast called the Relationship Gumbo Podcast, where we talk about relationships, dating, communication, mental health, and everything. All that stuff just kind of ties together, and we just get it in. Real talk. I'm an engineer by trade, so I kind of go under the hood. I try to go get down to the white meat so that you can understand even more why these things happen, so that you can start on the path to better decisions, better thinking, and healing. So that's what I do.
So, once again, you heard what the man, Derrick. We need to see your logo again on your t-shirt.
This one?
Yes, there we go. You all take a screenshot of that, and I want you to make sure and like. Hi, Latasha. Hi, Michelle. Hi, Tiffany. I want you to make sure and visit his website. He has a lot of new goodies that's coming up. So,
yep.
You know what? We'll save it at the end of the show.
Yeah, at the end. We'll do it at the end.
So, tonight.
The setup is awesome.
So we're going to start off. I'm going to introduce you to Billy in a moment, but let me tell you a little story. So there was this young lady, beautiful. She was out at the bowling alley. Thank you, Latasha, for sharing. She met this fine brother, sexy, almost looked like Idris Elba, very close to it. His voice was smooth like butter, and his swag was just off the chain. They fell in love. She fell more in love. She decided to go and get him an awesome gift for his birthday. But when she went to the mall, she saw him with another woman. Now, I'm going to let Derrick take over. But before I let Derrick take over, put in the comments, what would you do? Because if you didn't know, we've all met this Billy before, and that's what his name is, Billy. But Idris Ware said, Michelle, he's sitting over there on my, no. So anyways, that's who Billy is. So we're going to work backwards, and Derrick is going to go into the genesis of how women have met Billy. It's on you, sir.
So the whole Billy persona just as a matter of clarification, when I did a show one time, I picked an arbitrary name out the hat. Don't even know where it came from, but I said let's just call him Billy. And now Billy has a whole Billy just went to the stratosphere. But in its essence, Latasha, you done met a few Billies. Just wait.
Yeah.
So Billy is a name we're going to give to a guy who he's a womanizer. He's a cheater. He's a doesn't really care about your feelings type of guy. And these are the guys that we call. Go ahead. I hear you. I see the lips moving.
He's a monster.
He's a monster. Yeah, he is a monster. And when she said about the Genesis, this particular character comes from a place, right? A lot of people who, I'm saying men, but we know there's some women versions of Billy's out here too. But we're going to focus on men. So Billy comes from a place. Billy wasn't like this when he was 10. Billy wasn't like this when he was 15. But at some point in his life, he experienced some pain, some relationship pain, maybe some pain or trauma came from his parents or whatever. And he got hurt by some folks. And there's a point in his life where he decided that he wasn't going to deal with that pain anymore. And he's going to now not care about anyone else's feelings, right? And then he becomes something else. It's born out of pain. It's born out of rejection. It's born out of maybe not getting what he wants. And now he has to, in order for himself to feel any kind of feeling or fulfilled, he has to hurt others. And when he hurts others, he's conquesting. He's out here in predator mode, and he's trying to find someone to make his ego and this dopamine high fill up so that he could feel the euphoric feeling of chasing, maybe even dating and being around you. But it has a shelf life because he never intended to be there long term. He just keeps needing those shots because long term means the potential of being hurt again like he was before. Catch it?
Caught it.
And when he's on this path, it's hard to recognize him because that honeymoon stage, he's an expert at that. That's the dopamine high.
Question.
And go ahead.
So when you said a shelf life, I've seen a shelf life anywhere from 3 months to 30 years to 30 days. What's your opinion on that?
Okay, so when I say shelf life, let's clarify. You will never get all of him. Okay, so you'll never get, like, let's say you've been with somebody that's this Billy character for 5 years, and underneath the cloth, he's an asshole, but on the surface, it may look okay, right? There's a shelf life on you getting everything he has to give. He's not going to give you that because he doesn't have it to give. He suppressed it. It's not there. The unfortunate thing is when a lot of times when you get into a relationship, not everybody, okay, because I'm disclaimering this right now. I am not talking about all women. I'm not talking about all men. But the woman, in a lot of cases, doesn't require all of him. That's the catch. So here's how I'm going to explain it. If he doesn't have to give his all in or enough of him for you to say he's given what he needs to give to the relationship, it's just good enough for him to be there. It's just good enough for him to take you out and make you feel good. And you're good with that. He doesn't have to give it. So if he doesn't have to give all of it, who is it being reserved for? Is it ever going to come out? You'll never get it. That's why it's easy for him to leave. It's why it's easy for him to stray, because he's never giving you everything. So the way that I'm going to explain this is, and this is where the teaching comes in.
Yes.
And this is the part that I need you guys to catch, okay?
Wait. Go way back with it, Derrick, because I know how you do.
I'm going way back with it.
Yeah.
I need you to catch this, okay? Pay attention. Attention does not equal intention. Okay, I'm gonna say it again and then I'm gonna explain it. Attention does not equal intention. And so when the Billies of the world are out there looking for their prey, and like what Ursula said was, I've seen it go from 30 days to 3 years or to whenever. You got to understand it's self-fulfilling. It's almost like a narcissist, right? As long as you're feeding what I need to be fed, why leave?
Well, how about this? If a woman is just glad to have a warm body there, that's fulfilling for her. She may not be having all of her emotional needs met, and Billy doesn't mind being a warm body.
Right.
Does that?
So, but at the end of the day, right? If he's a true person who comes from that whole dysfunctional space, he's going to get tired of it after a while because it's not fresh. It gets old, right? And you may not know, but it needs to be fulfilled. He still needs that dope. He needs that initial hit. He needs that hit again. You're not giving him the initial hit. You're giving him the 30-day, 60-day, 2-year. That's not new. He still needs that because he's broken. This is broken behavior. Players are broken behavior. Predators are broken behavior, right? And so let's go back to attention is not equal to intention, okay? This is how this is how his mind works when he's out pursuing to try to see, because the words I always say is a predator normally is only attracted to a prey that's appetizing to it, right? This is how Billy's mind works. This is just one example. Attention is not equal to intention. So Billy has to understand and know that there is a very large percentage of women out there who have been hurt, who have not yet healed. And so the mathematical equation, the equal sign with the slash through it, that's blurred. So a lot of women, that's the emotional center. It's blurred. Intention is something that you can quantify by actions and consistency. But if that not equal to is blurred, you're going to confuse the attention with intention. You're going to look at he's there. But the intention for him to be something more, you don't require it because you're happy with the attention. You think it's the same thing. He knows it's not the same thing. He knows all he has to do is butter you up, do whatever it is to keep you smiling. And the intention, you're not going to check off the check boxes.
See? So all those are just breadcrumbs.
Right. And so there's a lot of women that, I'll never have nobody do that to me. I would never fall for that. Trust me, it's a lot of y'all that do, like the majority. So I need for you to understand, it's not that you are beyond, like I don't want to use the word weak, but it's they look for the lowest hanging fruit. They look for the least amount of work. And we're gonna get to I see Tasha's comment. We're gonna get to what Billy can and can't be, and is there a good version of him or not? That's coming. So when you give the attention, the attention and the intention, the line is very thin, right? So sometimes they can kind of look a little the same, and that's what's confusing, because the attention gives you the feeling. Intention, you have to vet that out with your brain. So it's his job to find women who don't lead with the logical center of their brain. If you think about
lack.
Yes. And
been there, so I'm not judging.
Yeah,
I've been there before.
We've all been there. Those feels get all up, your chest get warm, and you're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna just keep going anyway. Don't feel right, but Let me go ahead.
And don't let him lay it down that night. You can forget it. All of that is gone.
So Billy's job, his mission in life is to make sure that you never use your logic. So then what he does is you have to say, well, not me, not me, not me. There's a few things that have to be present for every woman that he approaches, right?
Like what?
The first thing is, if you, whether you say it or you don't, want to be with someone, then the odds are that most women he meets, even if they're single, there's something in the back of their head that says maybe one day if the right guy comes along, if he knows that's true, that's checkbox number one without even talking to you. Now he then at that point has to determine from you, what do I have to do to make you feel like I'm him? If I could achieve that, your logic goes way back here and I win. Because once I get in there, your defenses go down because you're emotional. And then he then has his free reign. That's where people that ghost you, that's where they live. Once they got you there, the dopamine high is over. It's time to go now.
Goddamn Billy.
Goddamn
That's
Billy.
why I scratch his face out. And he
that whole picture with the scratches. I was like, what are you doing to Billy? But so you have to think about this in context. And ladies, when you're listening to this, whether you're on the replay or not, you got to take your that thing in you that says he's giving excuses and he's excusing bad behavior and I'm not like that. Let me explain something to you. For every woman that says I'm not like that, I can show you a woman that's been played. Stop it. You have to stop thinking that it's impossible to play you. And you have to start thinking about what you need and what you want and how I'm going to heal so that when the player comes along, it don't even feel right.
That's right, because your emotional intelligence, we talked about this before. When your emotional intelligence has been raised, you can see the bullshit quick.
You will never see it all, but here's the thing, and I'm gonna tell you, this is in once upon a time I wore the Billy crown. That's how I can speak on it so much. Once upon and we're gonna talk about is a Billy character a Billy for life, or is there a point where possibly that Billy could shift and become something different? When you're out there chasing the lowest hanging fruit, and I don't mean that means that you're a bad person or whatever. It just means that you're human. Humans want attachment. Humans want love. Human wants, to have somebody to care about them. That's not a bad thing, but you have to understand that once that person comes into your personal space, you own that. When he then relies on your emotions to take over, it's not your space anymore. He owns that.
Let's get into a couple of comments real quick. Joan, I do agree. Billy is a damn predator. Yes,
a predator all day long. And see, here's the thing. This is what you guys need to realize. A man being a predator, and I talked about this, I think, on the last show. We're trained to be predators from teenagers up. We're trained to go ahead.
So what you're saying is, or what I think I'm hearing, before Billy, was he born in Urkel? And saw his Urkel dad and
there's a plethora of different types of people, right? And it's all about your environment and how you was raised or whatever. He could come from any station in life. He doesn't necessarily have to be an Urkel. The constant here is the pain that they experience from whatever source that creates that person into the person that's devoid of caring about others' feelings or having empathy for others' feelings. He could be he doesn't have to be an Urkel. He just has to be a man that's hurt. Men don't know how to instinctively deal with that emotion. And when we feel bad and we can't talk about it, we need to find something to make us feel better. I need you to catch that. And if you don't have a control over that, That could be liquor. It could be being a womanizer, right? It could be just having sex with a bunch of people because I cannot deal with whatever I need to resolve here because maybe I don't know how, whatever. I have to now feed my dopamine, my ego so that I could feel good. But guess what? When you feed something like that, it's temporary. And then you need to keep refilling it. You need to keep refilling it. So if I get high off of just going out on the first few dates in the honeymoon stage and the first time I sleep with you and then I leave, I need to go find that high again.
But does Billy ever get tired? Because you know what? I know some Billies that are in their 50s and 60s.
There's some Billies in their 60s and 70s, right? I'm gonna get into that, Tasha. Yeah, I'm gonna get you. Tasha asked some good questions, and I got all the answers. So let's cap this. Let's cap this off, and then this will segue into Tasha's thing. A person could be a predator, and they could be a person that doesn't really care about others' feelings until they die. There's no point where you say, "Oh, he's 40 now; he should be over that." No, I know you ladies know that there's men out here like this. Here's the thing. Most men who are like this don't realize where it came from. They just know that it's a perpetual state. And that's why a lot of times when men find women who are good women and they might even marry you, they still haven't resolved it. Right? And so you may not see it on the surface, but it's still there. It's like it's a drug addict. We need to feel good. We need for that, whatever that is, to feel good. And most of the time, the people we marry, they're incapable of giving me that. Because you're already there. How can you give me that initial high if I've been with you for 3 years? It's impossible.
So it's just broken attracts brokenness.
Right. So we are trained to hide it, make it look good. So in that thing that we, and this is why, and I hate to say it, this is why you see so many people going out to like different places to get either, like I said before, they go to the bar all the time. They're going to the strip club all the time. They're going to be a womanizer, and you keep catching them, and you keep catching them, and you keep staying. They cannot. When I say dopamine, it comes from a years of appeasing this. So the only way that a drug addict can get over it is they need to detox and they need to separate themselves from it. Then they need to realize where it's coming from in order to heal from it. It's mental health 101.
Yes.
Right? And that doesn't mean that there aren't people that out there that grew up and they're just an asshole. And a lot of them are beyond redemption. I get that. They're out there. But there's a lot of people who the behavior comes from, it evolves over time. And by the time you meet him, he might be Billy. But there's a redemption. And we're going to get into Tasha's first question. Is there a good version of Billy? No, Billy's always bad. Billy has to have a whole new name and so what happens is someone who's doing this behavior, normally it's an event that happens that makes them decide to change. Like,
can you give an example of what that event can be? Give a couple examples.
Like you got caught cheating.
The subtle and then the not so subtle. Because I believe as women, some of the not so subtle, we'll let that slide by. Let's talk about me. This will explain a lot of it. So a lot of people who follow me, they know that I had like 3 heartbreaks in a row when I was like 20, between 20 and like 22, 23. And each one of them cheated, right? I'm young. I'm like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm being the nice guy. And that's not what they wanted, obviously. So by the time the third one happened, I said, maybe there's something wrong with me. I can't keep saying I'm the good guy and they're bad. Maybe there's something wrong with me. So I then started to go into a defensive mode
where I didn't want anyone to hurt me like that ever again while I'm on this earth. And the only way to protect me from that is for me to not let anybody all the way in. And I'm a man and we're trained predators, so I'm going to meet women. But when I met them, I'm not going to give you my all. I'm not going to care about your feelings, because if I care about your feelings, then you may care about me, and you may get in there and you may have the potential to make me feel like that. So I went on a spree of not giving a damn about your feelings because it was self-centered around my feelings.
Right. So you started off as a William, transitioned into Billy, right, as Michelle said.
And so what happens in that when that trajectory changes and you start to do this dysfunctional behavior, right? Because I told you that once that shift happens and you go on a path of doing all of this behavior, it becomes such a pattern and becomes so normal. It's hard for you to get out of it. And so what happens in my case, I knew deep down that before I was Billy, that I had a dream of like being happy at some point with someone. And I looked at my behavior, and that path would never get me there. The only way for me to get there was for me to stop. And it's not easy to stop. It's a drug. How do you stop a drug cold turkey? You just can't wake up and be like, I'm done. So you have to take the time to detox from it and really do some soul searching about what you really want. And then you can, over a period of time, go back out there and say, I'm going to do things differently now. But it's not easy to do when you inherently have, been doing this behavior for so long, to go into a relationship and be the, I'm the good guy, but your dopamine is like your whole ego and everything is like, but I'm not getting fed the way I've been fed for the past 5 years. I need it. It's real. And when you get to the point where you make a decision, and like I was saying before, you could be in a relationship and get caught cheating. And then you could realize that this is a detriment to this relationship, whether the woman decides to stay with you or not. And now this is the time where I'm now looking at, oh my God, I'm still doing it. Like I said, there's some assholes out there, but I'm saying that Billy, because Billy has had a trajectory that was born of pain, and it's really not who he is, but he turned into that as a protective measure for him. In order for him to make a decision to go the other way, something has to happen, whether it's internally or externally, for him to say, I cannot keep doing this. And I'm trying to see what was. So that answers Tasha's questions of why was I a Billy? Mm-hmm. But here's the thing that I talked about on my show too, and then I guess they can ask whatever they need to ask. And I'll start this with, there's no person that's beyond redemption. There's some real scary people out here, narcissists, abusers, and all of that. But if that person really wants help, if that person really wants to change, they have the ability to do that. But
okay. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. So what about Billy, who has kids? Then they are adult kids, or even if the little kids, or they have grandchildren. Something. Do you think even having kids would make Billy a little softer and slowly turn into William?
No, it doesn't. Could it happen? Yes. But if this is a part of who I am, it's still there. I have to make a conscious effort to go against everything that I've known in order for me to change. That's not an easy thing to do. If you've been doing it for 10 years and then you say, I had a kid, now I'm just not going to require to feel good anymore like that. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And so it's a tough decision as a woman, because you're like, do I I don't know if he's gonna change or is this who he is or whatever. But that's the whole when we talk about attention versus intention, that consistency is key. And most of the time, so I'm gonna tell you, when I was Billy, the things that I'm gonna give you the cheat codes on this, ladies. We good on time. I don't want to, I know you. I don't want to, because I got some stuff for you.
So you better give it. You better give it.
So these are the things that would piss me off and would make me not want to continue to choose a path of trying to hurt you. First thing would be if you challenged me on my behavior early, then I would have no choice but to try to gaslight you and make you think it was you early, right? Follow your instincts. If your instincts say it doesn't feel right, follow it. You can never go wrong with detaching yourself from that person. That would piss me off.
The earlier the better, too.
Huh?
The earlier the better. Because
earlier the better. So, and a lot of times when I talk to people, when I coach people, and I'm like, "Did you see it early?" And they be like, "I kind of did." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's." If you're thinking with your logical brain, you won't always see it, but it's stuck. The whole purpose of a predator is for you to be dumbed down. If you weren't dumbed down, they would who would fall for it? You wouldn't.
It got nothing for you.
So I used to really get pissed and just stop when I would be on the phone with somebody and they would be like, "So look, man, I see what you're doing. That's not really where I'm at. I hope you can find, the person you need to find, because you said you get off of work at 5 every day. You don't have no kids and you live by yourself, but I can't talk to you until 1 a.m. That's not really, I don't know what you're doing, but that's not." And I used to be like, "No." And they used to be like, "Nope, I'm good." And they would literally detach. That right there, you want to talk about an exorcism? That right there, the whole, the spinning head, because your whole plan goes to shit when you get checked. And not just get checked, because this is the thing. If you check me and I can turn you around within seconds, I still won. Your check means nothing, because I am still appealing to your emotions. You want a man, right? I'm cute. I'm the one that you like. I'm going to say something to turn you around so that you won't even think that thing that you checked exists anymore. If I can do that fast, that's permission to keep going, right? We just going to go down a list of a few things, okay?
Keep it going.
If I meet you out somewhere and you exchange phone numbers with me, right? And we're going to pretend that people are still operating on traditional male-female roles, right? I know it's 2020, and I know a lot of you ladies are like, "Forget that. I'm calling him first, and I'm going to be the one to find out what's going on." Let me explain something to you. If he gets your number and he doesn't call you, don't call him.
Can you repeat that?
Huh?
Can you please repeat that?
Don't call him. For 2 reasons. Either he's even too busy to think about that woman that he pursued that night. And if he's too busy to make that first phone call to at least say hello, he doesn't have time to be in any kind of thing with you, number one. Number two, it's a test. It's a test to see how desperate you are.
The mind game.
If I get your number and I'm blowing your ear up the whole night, I really want to see you. Let's go. I'm gonna take you out. I'm selling you a bunch of dreams, right? Yeah, man. I think this gonna work, man. You're gonna be at the family reunion and all that, right? And you can be like, "Me? I'm gonna be at the..." Yeah, you. If I disappear for 2-3 weeks and then you pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, I just wanted to see where I haven't heard from you. I win. Because disappearing is acceptable to you. I won. So now I reserve the right to make up some bullshit about why those 3 weeks passed. And because you called, you there for the explanation. And
Latasha said my baby called me and didn't even know. Oh, he didn't know your name because you did not put it on the napkin.
So you gotta think about. And like I said, it's 2020. I know women, a lot of women are the aggressor and they really don't give a damn if the guy don't call. They gonna be the one to call. I've seen that happen. If you want a traditional male-female relationship, don't do it. Don't do it. Because when you start becoming the aggressor and you're rewarding him for bad behavior, that's really what it is. It's the same thing you do with kids, right? If I disappear for 3 weeks and then you're always calling to find me, you're rewarding me for bad behavior.
Let me tell you a story real quick.
Okay.
Briefly, a while ago. So I'm dating this man. I'll admit there were red flags.
Mm-hmm.
And they became red blankets.
Mm-hmm.
And what did I do? Turn the blind eye to it.
Mm-hmm.
So one night, he decided not to come back home. Now I'm at his place.
Mm-hmm.
So I had enough. And I held him to the fire. And when I say Billy came out of, no, he did not come out of anywhere. Billy just unleashed. He was a capital Billy. And that was the same night our relationship ended. Because D. Jones said Scooby snacks. I know what that means.
So just to clarify, when you, I'm still laughing at that last comment. So Latasha said she's going to get a cup of brandy.
Yes.
So in your situation, it's a perfect illustration of the emotions being higher than the logic, right? And this is also something that I wanted to talk about too. Another trap that women fall into is this quest for closure. Stop it. If the dude leave, that's your closure. The dude that leaves isn't the problem. It's the dude that leaves that you let keep coming back. That's the problem. The dude that leaves, it's a gift from God. If you keep letting him back in, the guy who thrives on being able to either come back or what I call re-ghost you, they disappear, and then like a month later, they be like, hey, I was just thinking about you. And you be like, hey, I'm just chilling. Stop it. The guy who, you have to think about it like this. I'm going to give you a mindset. A guy who consistently leaves and comes back knowing that he's hurting you every time.
Does he really know that he's hurting you?
Are you acting hurt? Are you going crazy because I left? Are you crying? Yes, he knows. The guy who knows that he's hurting you every time, but knows that he can keep coming back. It's almost like a serial killer. Like I'm getting off on destroying you. It's pretty sick. It's
That's
pretty,
so
if you think about it.
That's morbid.
And what happens over time, and this is what I'm gonna touch on her real, Susie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Billy has a counterpart called Susie. Susie gets created by being hurt by a Billy, and then she goes on to hurt other people too. And Billy is the origin story for her. And when he keeps coming back and chipping away at your soul in that way, you then become something different. And if you know that that is the outcome of being re-hurt by the same person, you will never allow it to happen. You will never. A player's kryptonite is a sane you that follows her intuition, that checks me at the door. If you do that, I can't play you.
There's nothing to work with.
I need for you to be weak. I need for you to be emotional. I need for you to be a woman who hasn't recovered from her last relationships. That's who I'm chasing. So if you're that woman, you need to know that you are the doggone steak sitting in front of a lion. You're perfect prey. The broken you is sexy to a predator. You know why? Because I don't have to work hard. It's easy. It's easy for a broken woman to be emotional. I need for you to be, I'm going to say this again. I need for you to be emotional. It is a must. I reign supreme in your emotional self, because the more I tap into that, your logic is it's in your socks and your ankles. It's not even coming back.
Michelle said it's a terrible cycle. Billy makes Susie, and Susie gets on to make more Billies.
It's a hell of a cycle. And just like I said on my show, sometimes when Billy decides to become William again, he don't even want Susie. He wants somebody that doesn't have any trauma or drama or any hurt. He's looking for the perfect woman. But it's sick because you created 30 Susies and now you mad because they bitter. Oh, they mean. Oh, they crazy.
You did, goddamn Billy. It doesn't make sense. It is a horrible, terrible cycle of toxicity.
And you know what happens too? When Billy has a daughter, sometimes that changes too. Because then you get to look in the mirror at what you did.
Right.
And like I said on my show, and like my wife always says, whenever we see somebody talking about a woman being crazy, and she'll always say, I guarantee you she probably didn't start out that way.
Right. Let me tell you real quick. There was this baseball player. I don't remember his name, but apparently he was really good looking, and he married a stripper. She was very pretty, and she was a good, wholesome girl. But then he started cheating on her, Billy. So instead of handling and being emotionally mature, talking about it, she said this on Larry King. She said, if he cheats again, she wasn't talking about leaving or get counseling. She said that she is going to go and have sex with the GM of the team. Then she's going to go have sex with the coach, all the players on this team, and including the baseball boys, the bat boys. That's a cycle. And it's just, I get it, because I've been Susie. I've dated a Billy. I've been all of those above, and it's just. But she went to the club with the Susie.
And think about it like this. And D. Jones says, but if they know your weak point, they will continually come back or to fill that hole. If they can get in it at that point, the strength comes with denying and saying, no, I'm past that. Let me explain something to you. An emotional woman is probably one of the hardest things to do, is to say, I'm past it. It's so difficult.
Why?
Because it's your emotions. Like you got to think about it. If this person has, and this is when I talked about on your last show of you being full and being self-aware and being and loving yourself. If it's a number from 1 to 10, that whole thing. If you gave him 9 out of 10 of who you are and all of your emotions, it's hard to get over that. You got to start off full or close to it. You got to start off at about an 8, right? Nobody's perfect. 7, 8, somewhere around there of loving you, so that when he comes, it's kryptonite to a player when you like, I ain't like that. So guess what I'm going to do? You're going to go ahead and get yourself together. And if I like it, cool. If I don't, I'm gonna be out.
Right. It goes back to what Latasha was saying before when she was on my show about doing shadow work or working on the inner so that you can detect when Billy comes.
It's essential. And the reason why there's so many men out here doing the predatory behavior, being a player, being a whatever, is because a predator knows that most of y'all haven't taken time to heal. So the odds are going to be in his favor. It's ripe for the picking. And it does, and you, well, not me. Yes, you too. Yes, because you have still not healed. And this is another thing that y'all get confused sometimes. The things that y'all think that y'all are doing to prove strength means nothing to us.
Things like what?
Like, well, I got my own stuff and I've got a degree and I'm strong. All of that stuff is not what makes you strong, number one. And number two, men aren't looking for that. So stop doing that. We don't care about all that stuff. Your PhD and all of that, that's not high on our priority list of this is, oh, I need my woman to make sure she has a PhD. Stop it. There's some men out there, but those are business transactions. If they're like, she must have a PhD or else I won't. That's a business transaction. That's not a relationship. So we don't care about that. That doesn't make you strong to us. You stop doing that. You keep pushing that in my face. This is what I do know, okay? And this gonna hurt a couple people, right? It's gonna be a little gut punch. When you aggressively are leading with that to prove how strong you are to me, you can do that to other women. You're trying to do that to me, it means you're hiding something.
What would that be, you think? Because you just dropped the mic on that one.
You are also prime picking for a player. I'm going to say that again. All you super educated, sticking your chest out, I'm strong because I have this stuff. You're prime picking for a player. Because if you feel like you have to do that, same thing for men. All the ones that have to aggressively show I'm this and I'm that. That means on the inside, there's a little girl in there that doesn't want to be seen.
Yeah.
You're going to get got too.
Yeah.
You're going to get got too.
D. Jones said there is no such thing as a not me. People die every day saying it could never be me. There. Yeah.
Facts. And when you're leading with all of that, a smart predator, unless you are so hardened by life that you have no emotion, very rare, but there are some out there that just will not give anything. If you're doing all of that, it's my job to make you feel so comfortable that you don't have to do that little emotional girl comes out and then I still win. Damn. So you come at me with all of that fervor, I'm going to take it and I'm going to say, you know what? So what we doing next weekend? And then you like, and I'm like, gotcha. Stop it with all that rah-rah stuff. It don't mean jack to us. It don't mean strength. It means weakness.
Wow.
I'm telling you right now, that's not strength.
So let me ask you this. Say Billy does have a daughter. What does that look like? Yes, Latasha, I said, what did I say? Damn, yes.
A daughter doesn't mean that he's going to have a conscience. It does in a lot of us. But if I'm still able to tap into that drug, why stop? Like for me, when I had my daughter, things started looking differently to me, right? So like when you, like, you know how these women, the strippers and all that, and they'll dress in like the little plaids and the pigtails and all that. And there was a part of me that was like, that's sick. Because I'm watching my daughter go to school with the school uniform on. I didn't think like that before I had her. And so when you start thinking about, and then you're starting to think about, what if she meets a guy like me one day? Do we all have that? No, but it happens. And then you're like, you know what? I need to chill because those chickens might come home to roost one day.
Yeah, karma's no joke.
And that's why I said on my show before, all of this behavior, you don't get away clean. It might not come back to you, but it's going to come back to someone in your lineage, or it's something's going to happen. And some people will be, I did all of that and nothing happened to me. It may not look like something egregious. It may be you sitting at home feeling empty. It may be you at home married and feeling like you don't have a place. It always comes back. If you're in a marriage for 20 years and you feel like you don't belong there, that's just like hell too.
Oh my God.
So don't think that there's no price to pay. There's always a price to pay. And that's why I do what I do with Relationship Gumbo. Ursula, does what she does to try to help heal people and get you in a better space. And what happens with what I do is I try to show you this stuff before you have the train wreck. Like, you can make better decisions. Because there's a lot of women out here over a certain age that's scared to go out on a date in 2020. COVID be damned. Like, put COVID to the side. They're afraid to date.
I want you to finish your thought, but I definitely want to address what Latasha just asked.
Go ahead and get her in, and then I'll finish.
Okay, Latasha said, let's see, when will you have the Billy combo with your daughter?
Oh, my daughter's 11, and she's already getting Billy combo because I already know it's 2020, and these kids ain't waiting for Jack. So she already kind of know that I'm here. Like, she's aware of what I do. She's setting on my shows. She knows exactly, like, it's not perfect because I'm a guy and she's a girl, but I always let her know it's a safe space to come and talk about anything. Mm-hmm. That is one of the most paramount things that I can do for her, is to just be a sounding board for her to come back to. And that's all I can do. I can't prevent it from happening, but I can arm her with the tools to love herself and to try to love yourself enough that if something don't feel right, to walk away.
That's right. God gave us intuition. And it's a shame that we have continuously ignored those signs. Guilty. I'll never judge anyone.
And a lot of times, a lot of the decisions we make come from our childhood. They come from different things that happen to us. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person or whatever. It just means that you got work to do to get yourself to a point of healing. Like, you really have to look at your patterns. We all have patterns. I don't care who you are. You have a pattern. And when you look at that pattern, and if that pattern is pain, you got to look at what happened. And then you can't give up and say, well, I don't ever want to experience that again, so I'm just going to never date anyone. You can't give up on something that you know you want inherently. What you have to do is you have to reconfigure, reboot. And try. I know I'm an engineer. You got to reboot. You got to reboot and retool. And sometimes you got to come to forums like this and hear other people talk about it. Talk to a therapist. Because some of y'all stuff goes deep. You still chasing stuff from when you was a little girl. You got to get out of that cycle.
Absolutely. You know what? Can we touch on this real quick? What about? Well, you just kind of said it, but if you go a little deeper. That Billy on the other side, who has been hurt, who has dated or been married to a Sally, and then he just decides, you know what, I'm never going to date again. I'm not even thinking about getting married, not even a part of the equation. And Billy's convinced himself that being single is just good enough.
That can, in 2020, that's even more real. Because men and women are making that decision at the same time. And they're settling for situationships, and that's being the status quo now. But that can happen because it's not unhuman to not want to be hurt again. It's fearful. Like, I'm so afraid to feel like that again that I'm just going to stop dating. It's unhealthy. And I'll say this again, it's unhealthy to separate yourself from meeting other human beings that may be fruitful in your life out of
Mhm.
fear. The only way that you can really effectively go out there is to know that you are better inside, so that when those things happen, that you have a means of recovery, because there's no
Exactly.
guarantees.
Because your bounce back will be a lot quicker. And that's just like someone having a headache, but they cut their head off, literally sever their head off. That's drastic. D. Jones said, everybody comes from something, although they are still individuals that can never be debated or changed unless it's something you personally want to change.
Yeah,
Agreed.
it's a personal decision, and we're in an era now where you have access to information. Like, you're sitting at home looking at us talk about this right now in your free time. You have access to help, you have access to information, and you have access to people's testimonies on what they've been through. We didn't have that growing up. All
Oh,
we
no.
had was figure it out and keep getting hurt and figure it out and hope you can handle it yourself.
Right.
and,
With no bounce back coping skills whatsoever.
and then you find out where you need to be when you're 45. And then it's like, do I even try again?
Right.
The answer
You're thinking
is
about that while you open up your AARP envelope and
it's
you
tough.
get it.
I'm not going to say it's not tough, but it's even tougher detaching yourself from society and hoping and wishing and dreaming about what if something good could happen to me, but you're not even leaving the house. You have to be stronger. The bad people are going to be out there. Billy's and Susie's, and they're going to be out there. But you can control you.
That's it.
Bad behavior rears its ugly head all the time. What are you going to do with that information? That's the question. If you choose to reward people for bad behavior, then the possibility of you being hurt is a 10 out of 10.
Exactly.
You get to control that. If you think about how often you've ignored red flags because somebody gaslighted you and you knew you was right, and they're like, nah, you just making that up. I really stop.
Yeah.
When you start doubting your truth and you know it's true, that's when you know it's time for you to reevaluate. Because
Exactly.
that emotion comes in, and if I leave, then I'm gonna be by myself. If I leave, it's gonna be hard for me to find somebody that rub my feet like he do. And stop. A happy you is way more important than you being with whoever it is. That's a life lesson. You need to be as happy as possible so that when somebody enters your happy sphere, it don't feel right, and you be like, whoa, wait, my peace is right here. You just came in there and you messed it up, and I don't like that, so I gotta go. Yeah, you cute. Yeah, you got a good job. Yeah, you say you're gonna take me to Kings Dominion. You're gonna take me to Vegas for my birthday, but you messed up my energy. Like, it's not. It don't feel. You're not even trying to resolve it. You're trying to get me to brush it under the rug. It don't feel right, and because it don't feel right, I choose me.
I love it.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do because you got to feel. Oh, we just spent 2 months together, and he done took me out, and it feel good. He seemed like he might be the one, but you're hurting though. Is he
Yeah.
really? Is he really?
I learned as an adult, this never came easy younger, but just now getting it where people mistake being compatible with getting along, with having equal emotional maturity, intelligence, their communication skills. And I believe that's where that clouded judgment goes, because
Yeah.
being compatible and getting along are different.
And I'm gonna give you, because I know you're gonna wrap us up in a minute.
Uh-huh.
The other thing is, the other cheat code is, I'm looking at
Sabrina.
Sabrina. Can you read that? I can't.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to. She said she's going through a breakup right now. How do I get my peace back and happiness back?
I'm gonna let you lead that.
Oh, yes. Sabrina, hit me up. talking to a life coach.
That's
So,
right.
yes,
Um,
hit me up, Sabrina.
yeah,
Inbox
hit
me this.
hit her up because she definitely can get you to a place of healing. And just kind of controlling your energy. Because like I said before, when we give so much of ourselves to someone, it's hard to we don't even realize that we've given that person like all of that stuff that was reserved for me to kind of have for myself, and you gave all of that away. Like you were supposed to give them some, but you didn't give them so much that when you
Right.
break up, it's like, wait, I don't even have that. How do I get it? And that's kind of where you are right now, Sabrina. And there's definitely ways to like she said, hit her up and she can kind of help you get your mind right.
Get your
Um,
mojo back, Sabrina. I mean, it is tough. And you ever hear that saying where people, after at the end of a relationship, they feel like they lost themselves?
yeah,
That's exactly
yeah.
what Derrick is talking about.
And
Uh,
Jones saying it took her 3 years. And guess what? Even if you take it 3 years, it's still worth it for you to eventually get to the point of peace and being happy within yourself. There's no time frame on that. And that's a hell of a damn detox.
it is. But you know, oh, and Sabrina said, oh, like she said, like
Oh
super
wow.
recent
Yeah. Yeah.
yesterday. Ooh,
Definitely hit up Ursula on that one. You're gonna have some things that's gonna go through your head. Your behaviors are
yeah.
gonna start to look a certain way because you're gonna start to try to figure out how you're gonna cope with it. And a lot of us do stuff that we shouldn't do, and it sends us the opposite way of the healing path. So
Exactly. And you know what, Sabrina, kudos to you for coming to terms that, look, this hurts and you want to get your peace and happiness back. Because I've been there before. I would let years go by
yeah,
and still dating. That's not, that's just not healthy at all. But
yeah.
yeah.
So
Hit
I
me
don't know
up,
if you.
girl.
So one last thing I wanted to say too, as a part of the cheat code is you relationship wise, whether you're dating, whether you're in a relationship, and even whether you're married, stop thinking that love is enough. It's not. Love is a part, but love is not what sustains the relationship. And I think we get that confused when we get attached to people and we think we're feeling love and all of the stuff that needs to happen to keep it together, like the communication and all these other things. That love isn't even enough for you to stay. I
Yeah.
need you to catch that. Love isn't even enough to make you stay. And that's a lot of times why we stay is because we feel like we're in love with this person or we've been through so much with this person. And now I just don't know how to leave because of the time spent. I always talk about time served. Time served isn't even a reason to stay. Kids aren't a reason to stay. And I'll repeat again, love isn't even a reason to stay because someone could love you and be beating on you every day. They could love you and make you feel like crap every day. And you can say, well, he still loves me. No, no, it's not enough. It's all the other mechanics of a relationship. Love is a piece of the relationship, but there's other pieces that needs to be served too. If all those other pieces are dysfunctional, the love don't mean jack.
Yeah. Wow, that's something. Sabrina said we lost who we were. It was mutual. It's really hard right now. We both were lost. So yeah, I get it, Sabrina, but it's still that we. Start thinking about me.
She
Get your
said, does she message the page to message you? How does she get in contact with you?
Oh, Sabrina inboxed me at Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together, and we can connect that way. And I'll put everything in the comment section, so you can definitely contact me. Also, once we get that together, it's like a baton that I pass on to Derrick because he can make sure that you will have the tools when you meet William.
William and not Billy.
Yeah, not Billy. We're done with Billy. No, Billy is the human form of COVID.
But you know what though? Sabrina right now needs healing
Yeah.
versus relationship stuff.
Hmm.
Don't even think about that right now. You got
Yeah.
to think about how do you say you lost yourselves. It's time for you to find you. It's not even like you said you haven't even moved out yet. It's mutual and all of that. You are going to have to worry about you. A lot of
Exactly.
times we make decisions based on how we think the other person might feel, or I'm not going to move all the way on until I know they're good first, and all these kind of things. You got to worry about getting yourself back together so that you can be functional for you. Relationship be damned. You got to come in to whatever the next relationship is whole as a whole person. Right now, it's impossible for you to be whole. You still going to have some things that you're bringing in from that last relationship, and you need to learn how to deal with that. And Ursula can help you heal that. The relationship part of it, you're a long ways away from that. Like I'm not even in a position to help you with that. And if you
Yeah.
feel like you need relationship help right now, stop it. That's not what you need. I'm telling you that from experience. Ursula can tell you that from experience. That
Yeah.
detox may take a long time for you to get yourself back together, but that journey is worth it. Like I think it was Joan that said it.
Joan.
It takes a while for you to get back, and sometimes you're going to need to talk to someone that's not in your head in order for you to understand what it really is. And that's why there's coaches and therapists out here. You talk to Ursula and all of that, and that help and you even asking to talk to her is step number one.
Kudos
That's
to
huge.
you, sis.
Most of us
Kudos.
don't make that decision. Most of us, let me tell you, y'all know what men do. We go hang out with the boys and get drunk and go find somebody else to lay up under. That's what we do. We ain't talking to nobody. And our friends aren't like, well, are you hurt? Is there anything I can do? Dudes don't do that. They be like, man, come on. So the fact that you're even willing to talk is huge. You did took about 300 steps that most of us don't even choose to take, or will sit in the, you'll sit in the somewhere in your living room with a big tub of ice cream and cry for the next 6 months. That ain't healthy either. So
It is not.
kudos to you for even wanting to even talk about it or even typing it. Right? That's your personal story. That's not easy to do. So I commend you for that. I see there's a couple comments here. I know you're gonna wrap us up in a minute.
I am. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna let D Jones let her have the last word, and I'm going to read it. D Jones said, "It's never too late to fix anything that you're going through." Totally agree. It's never too late. You just have to take that first step, like Sabrina did. That's huge, huge, huge. But Derrick, you have anything else you want to sprinkle into the gumbo? Give us any more seasoning? Our last seasoning in the pot.
Just a blanket statement, just for the whole tone of the show. Don't be afraid to step back out there once you've done the work to try to figure out who you are and what you really want. Because what you really want changes over time. What you want now is not the same as what you wanted when you were 20. When you get to a point where you want to get back out there, you should feel strength in knowing that you're armed with being self-aware. You're armed with knowing exactly what you're looking for. And then you have to be strong enough not to let your emotions make you deviate from your own plan of what you want. That's the key. You have to be strong enough not to go back to the things that you swore that you would never do because you're attracted to a certain type of looking man. When that guy comes your way, you're gonna be like, ooh. But then you got to be like, wait. But what comes along with that? Right. But wait. I got a house and kids. I got stuff to lose now. It just can't be that anymore. And then when he comes your way and say, hi, how you doing? I want to take you to Las Vegas. Then you can be like, hold on, player. Las Vegas, this week, number 2. I'm trying to build a future with somebody. You moving too fast. All that love bombing stuff, seen it before. I'm gonna need you to keep that moving.
Exactly.
So,
It's funny with these two ladies that are on here. I see Sabrina at the beginning of a healing journey from a breakup, and then Joan is on the other side of it.
mm-hmm.
And that's a beautiful thing, and that goes to show that it is possible, and it's not going to happen yesterday. And Joan said it took her 3 years.
Yeah, and
That's
the whole purpose.
okay.
That's the whole purpose of what I do and what Ursula does and why we do shows like this, is for you to see yourselves in these scenarios so that you can say, you know what, that might be me. I might need to talk to somebody. I might need to move a different way. If you never heard the testimony, think about it like this. What if you didn't even have this forum and you was just sitting at home talking to your regular family members or your girlfriends that's been giving you bad advice for 10 years?
Right.
You wouldn't have a source. So that's and I'm speaking for Ursula too. That's why we do this. Like, you got to think about it like this. Not just us, but there's a lot of people out here doing similar work. You have to take initiative to write that. You have to, because my final statement is, you have to think about mortality. You're not going to be here.
What kind of way? What do you mean by that?
We're all going to die. How many more years do you want to be miserable?
Mm-hmm.
That's the driving force. Like, when I used to be out there dating, like, once Billy became William was powerful. And whenever that stuff would come, and I'd be like, nah, it doesn't feel, I can't, because if I allowed those same toxic things to come my way, then you're taking time out of my life.
Mm-hmm.
1 month, 2 months means everything when you over a certain age. You're like, whoa, wait, I got a kid now. I got a house. I got all of this stuff, right? You can say that. A man can say that. And you got to say, I'm not going to let you come over my house because I have things to lose. Mm-hmm. What will my kid think? You can say, well, my kid wasn't home or they with their mom or whatever, but you're setting the tone. What if that person decides to come and kick your door in one day? Like, you got to, the vetting process has to be. So anyway, I'm a comment on Sabrina, and then
sure.
Christina Simmons is a friend of my show, and she forwarded some. See how this works? She forwarded her over to me. Then I shared you, and now she's in here, and now she understands that the path that she needs to go down. So that's why I'm a big proponent for networking, guys. We still human out here. We still need to connect, whether it's online or off. And that's how these things work. We can help heal each other. Stop thinking you can do it by yourself. We're not here alone.
No, not at all. If you all go back to one of my past shows, it was called Having Accountability Partners. This is the same thing, especially quality accountability partners, because you look out for somebody's best interest. So instead of speaking to that same girlfriend, it's not helping.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love it. Well, we're gonna wrap up. Derrick, thank you so much for this bonus episode.
Absolutely.
You all, once again, go on the Relationship Gumbo podcast or relationshipgumbo.info.
Right.
And you can get all of Derrick's information. He also does relationship coaching. If you haven't figured it out, there's a lot of gems there. And Sabrina, we will connect. And thank you everyone for tuning in. Derrick, you may have to come back in 2020 and introduce us to Sally. Susie.
We can do that. We can do a Susie show. That's easy. We can definitely do a Susie show.
And I'm going to end on the last word, and then we really will be finished. Ladies, you now know who Billy is. What are you going to do with it now? Are you going to welcome him with open arms? Just turn a blind eye? And I'm talking to myself as well. Or are you just going to turn your head and look towards a William? There's always choices. If you see Billy, scratch him out. Scratch that face out on the picture. Okay, I gotta go. Thank you all. Make sure and tune in on Thursday. We have Takaya Anderson, who is the Frugal Biddy, and she will teach us about some financial literacy. That is also part of self care. But right now, we're just going to concentrate on Billy for the next 48 hours.
Right.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.